All right, welcome to this month's webinar. There's people still jumping in, people from all over the country. So thank you so much for jumping in today with me as we dive into AI and Google search for auto repair shops in particular. Again, there's been a lot of different changes and things of late in terms of what's populating in the AI world and how it's kind of changing Google's search appearances, things that are affecting it. So we're going to be diving into all of that today in terms of the importance and what that sort of looks like. So buckle in. And again, I appreciate those that are here with us live. When you're here with us live, please feel free to leverage the chat so that way I can answer your questions as we go through this. Because again, you're devoting that time here with me today. I want to make sure we answer those questions. And those watching the replay, please feel free to like and subscribe so that way we can hit as many people as possible, reach out to a lot of different people, and then comment those questions if you have them below and give me your thoughts, and we'll make sure to answer those down there. But in terms of kind of the big bugaboo question, so to say, is SEO dead? It's kind of a popular thing that's appearing in the SEO world and in terms of what AI is doing. And so everywhere you look, someone is saying SEO is dead, or they're giving a different new acronym for what AI related SEO looks like. Again, these are just screenshots of different articles and whatnot in terms of the ether of marketing and what that sort of looks like. So the headlines change, but the panic again stays the same. And so this is what kind of everything has looked like in terms of the SEO's dead prediction. SEO dying has been going on for a bit in terms of this type of prediction. And so here back in 2007, social media, it was stating that it will replace search as a whole. And again, Google search was going to go away. That obviously didn't happen. 2011, Facebook is going to kill Google, and everyone's going to be leveraging Facebook, and everyone does leverage Facebook. However, Google still survived. 2015, mobile apps are going to kill websites. Websites are going to go away. Apps are going to be here to stay. And again, apps are definitely here, but websites didn't go away. 2020, voice search is going to take over, and SEO is going to, again, get replaced all over again. That didn't happen. And then 2023 is kind of when AI came to be. AI is going to kill SEO. And then 2025, AI overviews will end websites. And so again, these as you can notice, it's been a common theme for nearly 20 years that has gone over in terms of different introductions to market, in terms of what things change for marketing. But at the end of the day, search evolves, but SEO doesn't die. It's just going to get read in different ways. The answers are going to be planted in different ways. And we're going to be looking into kind of how those things are changing. So user behavior has changed. Businesses just overall adapt. So again, the need to be found never changes. At the end of the day, you still need to be found in just the mediums and the ways that they are being found. And again, at the end of the day, the search engine optimization, for those of you that don't know what SEO stands for, is never truly gonna die, because people are gonna be searching for businesses all the time. So what's actually changing? So if search isn't going away, it's just evolving. We're moving from more of a search engine to an answer engine. So what that sort of means. So as you see here, the old way, search engine, someone types in the search, there's a bunch of links that appear. In terms of websites, they visit the website, they click on the map, and you search, you click, you explore, you do the digging. Nowadays, it's an answer engine. And so you ask sort of a question, or customers are asking questions. The AI is reading it, and then it just kind of then gives answers as in terms of what those recommendations and options are instantly. And so AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. So customers, again, are creating more of a conversational basis within search. It's not just these short little phrases anymore. And then again, there isn't going to be, as you're going to see here, there's not going to be any one answer that stays the same. Again, even if it's the same exact prompt that is being asked to AI, the answer is going to change nearly every single time. There's multiple tests of hundreds and thousands of things that are tested, and then again, the same answer appears maybe a couple times at most, and thus where again you're getting these different iterations of answers all the time. So again, then now customers are asking longer, more conversational questions. It used to be, hey, oil change near me. That's just what they'll type in. Instead, it's just like, what's the best auto repair shop near me that offers oil changes? So again, it's covering the same thing, but you can see how many more words are sort of being featured in the search. And again, it's just creating this conversation of back and forth. And so before when you type in the search, then the websites or links appear, and then you call. Now the AI answers, it looks over the reviews, looks over the GDP, looks over social, it's looking everywhere in terms of coming up and populating these answers, giving you a whole list of rankings, and then the call then takes place. So a lot of that analysis that used to be done by the user is not being done by AI. And so again, at times people are blindly trusting AI, which is a little bit scary. And we need to make sure that everyone doesn't, just even as a business owner, you're not just blindly trusting any of the answers. Because one time I typed in AI, I was like, hey, do you always tell the truth? And then it responded, no, sometimes I make stuff up. Like that was the answer. And I was like, that's a little bit scary in terms of like, sometimes I'll just make up answers, but people are just blindly trusting what gets populated. But if the information that you're feeding AI in terms of on your websites, online, what is out there in the ether is all trustworthy information about your business, then again, more and more so when people decide to choose you and then they use you, they trust you, those things kind of create that social proof that we're looking for here. So today it's not just about ranking, it's about being sort of the best answer for customers. So the evolution again of search as we know it. So over the years, search has become far more advanced. So back in 2000, keywords optimize, you just again optimize for specific keywords. And then in 2010, local search came to be in terms of the maps, and Google started understanding and search started understanding that people wanted things in a more local basis. So that's more closely related to where someone would actually visit and go. And then 2015, voice search came to be in terms of, okay, we need to optimize for conversational searches and people speaking to it. And in 2023, AI is sort of, again, it was introduced probably sooner than this, but again, in terms of mainstream and a good amount of users are being used kind of pretty much in 2023 and then 2025 and into 2026 here, we're looking at AI overviews and what sort of AI answers appears directly in the search results across the board. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it within Google. There's just a big summarization at the very top portion of Google now before it even gets to any of the answers. So each page changed the way people searched, but then the business that adapted stayed visible. So if you don't adapt to what people are using and how the answers are being formed, then again, you're going to start to fall behind and wonder where are all my leads going? Like what's happening here? And again, it isn't anything different and fancy as we're going to go over that you need to change. Like, oh, I need to redo my whole website to, again, this is the only way to be AI optimized is doing it these certain ways. Like, no, it's going to be a lot of what has been the principles in the past, but then in terms of maybe there's some just maybe slight editing and things that need to be done that layer out and makes it a little bit easier for AI to digest everything that is on your site, all the things that you do offer, and almost answering what will be the conversational basis of what people will be populating in their searches in the future. So again, it's just slight tweaks and adjustments that get made to content and things that, like, for example, what we're doing internally already is adjusting how these things get laid out. Big things are like FAQ pages in terms of like, hey, a lot of what we're seeing is conversational based in terms of what the audience and customers are using. Is like they're typing in these longer conversational questions. Then frequently asked question pages are very important. Then in terms of like, these are the type of questions that people are asking in order to find an auto repair shop. So we need to have pages like this on websites so that way AI can read it and knows that, oh, this site already answered this question in terms of what this person is looking for. I'm going to populate that answer and tag the business on the summary and even recommend it in terms of going to them, because it looks like they take care of them. So again, those are things that you want to think about as we go through this. And overall, again, just to reiterate the value of SEO or search engine optimization. So search engine optimization, again, is that at the end of the day, you want to get found online on search. And again, that's going to be majority of the traffic gets found that way. And ideally, it's going to be a brand name in terms of that they're typing in your actual business name, because you've built enough social proof that they don't need to look up the auto repair shops near them. They just know, like, this is the auto repair shop I need to go to, and they just type it in. And so as you go through each and every month, ideally you see your brand name start to increase in terms of the amount of searches that's getting clicked for and populated for, because that means you're starting to dominate market share more and more. When that starts to dwindle in terms of the amount of people searching your business, then again, it's offering for competitors to start leaking in. If you're number one thing that, yes, you want to be the number one ranking individual for auto repair near me, or so something more generic along those lines. But if your brand name is not, again, increasing over time, that just tells me that your brand is not as powerful as it needs to be. And as in this day and age, you want to even take away the ability of people for inviting competitors and doing more research. Like, no, you want to be the lone individual that gets chosen. Makes it then easier, obviously, to sell to these customers. They already have innate trust in you, etc. there. So again, first there's the awareness portion where people discover your brand. And then they go down the funnel where now they consider, like, okay, people research and evaluate the different solutions and going through, is this where I want to go? And then at the end of the day, they take action. Conversions at the end of the day is what you really care about when it comes to SEO. Is like, hey, how many people took action and called the business? And thus where, when you start getting more of these conversions, that's where more visibility, qualified traffic, more leads and revenue happen. And that's where, again, why I iterate why brand is so important, because as you go down this funnel, obviously you can see the conversion ratio of when someone types in your brand name is obviously going to be much higher than when someone types in a more general search phrase. And then thus where now you're looking at top of funnel where, like, hey, I need to rank as high as possible for all these words, so that way I get as much a possibility to then work down to this lower conversion rate. Versus, hey, if we increase brand name and recognition here and through all the different options, and if that increases, then that conversion ratio stays high. So kind of the funnel stays wider, as if that makes a little bit more sense. So SEO, again, delivers high quality traffic that's more likely to convert. It's going to depend on where they are, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are still searching and they're just getting their answers in different ways. So rankings versus recommendations. So old Google, again, is you want to rank number one, and auto repair shop near me, and these are the different choices as they're ranked. Obviously, number one is gonna be the best, and that's what you need to do to be found the most often. Now with Google and AI, because you want to become not just ranking well, you want to be recommended. So in AI, when people say, oh, we can rank you number one in AI, that AI doesn't really have a ranking system in terms of, like, as you can see, it's a conversational base, and the answers are going to be different, and it's really catered to the individual and based on things that they've searched in the past and ways that they have then acted as a consumer. No one answer, again, is going to be the same. So just because you type in this phrase and it shows an auto repair shop, maybe it shows yours, it doesn't mean someone else that types it in will have the exact same solution. The odds are we obviously want to create the highest likelihood of appearing as often as possible. But again, it's not the case where, oh, I checked today and I typed it in and my business wasn't number one, or it didn't appear as the recommended business. It's going to be different over time. Google is coming up with more and more ways to start analyzing how you're appearing for AI overviews. But again, that's going to take time to iterate and appear for. So again, at the end of the day, you want to trust the leads and the conversions that are flowing through for the business. So rankings get you seen, trust gets you recommended at the end of the day. And right now, people are trusting AI quite a bit, pretty blindly. And so what we need to make sure that you're feeding the beast, so to say, in terms of what's it reading, in terms of determining, like, am I the trustworthy source or not? So what AI is actually seeing, so it's not just, oh, it's looking at this one database where, like, oh, I'm looking here and that's all, that's the only place that has information. If you don't have information in there, too bad. No, the more information that you have everywhere around the ether, the better it's going to be. So there's going to be a Google Business Profile. It's going to be the data that's on there. It's going to be the website, all the data that's on there. It's the way that you mentioned locally within the community, whether it's, again, online on different neighborhood pages and et cetera, that way, just any different local mentions, local newspaper, local chamber of commerce, things like that, YouTube, and having a channel and seeing and digesting that data, the number of reviews and the way that people talk about you in reviews, all that data that flows through social media across the board in ways that you're posting about the business and how it's affecting the community, et cetera, there. And then citations and local citations in terms of what's, again, different outlets that are there locally listing businesses. You want to be involved in all these different ways. It's going to kind of create this holistic ecosystem where AI is evaluating everything it can. It's a very powerful means and algorithm that is looking at all these different data points and not just one point where it's like, oh, what's on my website, that's what's going to rank me the best. No, you really do need to be everywhere. And yes, it makes working a little bit hard as a business owner in terms of making sure you have these local connections, etc. there. But at the end of the day, it helps you be the dominant one in the market. And so we're going to be going over a few areas of why certain things are mattering more than ever. These are definitely things you want to make note of. And if you're not leveraging it to the maximum capacity, it's definitely something to look into. So these will be big checkpoints in terms of, hey, am I using this means as powerfully as I can in order to, again, leverage all that I can out of the data that populates from it, and thus where it gives you the strongest signals for AI. So one of the biggest things, again, are going to be reviews. And now, again, it's not just because I have the most reviews, that is what's going to make the biggest impact. No, but again, having more reviews creates more data points, creates more ranking signals, creates more trust down the funnel. So creating a good flow through process that gets you as many reviews as possible. If you're not getting double-digit reviews a month, then I would look into what is my process in terms of reviews. And it has to be certain ways. Again, you can't create, Google has updated its guidelines in terms of how you can retrieve reviews. You technically cannot be offering promotions. You can't be incentivizing team members to then say, hey, put my name on the review and I get a bonus. That is against Google guidelines now. It's a new thing that came out this year. So it needs to be a little bit more organic, a little bit more natural. And so the ideal way is what we've seen is leveraging, say we use our CRM for our clients and we want to text people when they're at home and hitting those touch points and having them leave a review, one, when they're not at the shop, and then leaving those signals outside of the shop in the local area and giving Google all these data points of like, oh, okay, these people coming all over town and visiting them, and not just like, oh, because this business only asks for reviews when people are at the shop, I only see signals at the shop, and you're going to be ranking well at your shop anyways. It doesn't create as much trust. So you want to, again, create more reviews, creates a better, again, ability to have more data points. The more detailed the reviews, also the better. That's it. You can't ask a client to, hey, talk about everything that you came in for, etc., and guide them through how they should be writing a review. They'll just write a review, but the more detailed that they are about their experience, the better it is for AI to be able to read and understand and create more things. And again, everyone's typing in different conversational prompts that allows for more ways for things to be interpreted. The more ways that you have answers in your reviews, the better. Okay, so we have a question that popped through. What details do you recommend in adding to the reviews? So I think number one is definitely having the service type that they came in for. If they came in for oil change, they came in for a brake repair, they came in for a transmission repair, whatever they came in for, ideally, if they talk about that said thing, that definitely is beneficial. If they can also mention what type of vehicle they brought in, it doesn't need to be make and model and go into all the in-depthness of which type of model it is. If they just simply have make alone, that is a big lift in terms of what can take place there. So those are little things that you definitely, and as you respond to reviews, you want to respond to reviews that way too. But it is definitely more powerful to have the consumer and what they left there have the details that way. Both are indexed, but the way that the customer reviews it is much more powerful in terms of a trust signal there. So hopefully that answers your question. And again, I appreciate any and all questions. Feel free to jump in and ask questions at any time as we go through this, because again, things are changing very quickly within the AI world, but the places that you should focus on should be pretty, again, self-explanatory of like, this, I'm already doing this, but then maybe I can tweak these little elements to get even more out of it. All right, so next area that matters probably more than ever is going to be social media. And that's one thing in the past that probably has been pushed by the wayside more often than not, because most people have found that, I'm not getting any traction on social media, or I don't get any engagement, I don't get anything out of it. No one ever, again, sees my posts. They never say that they found me because of Facebook or Instagram or whatever it may be. But now it's a big leverage point in which AI is reading more information about the business. So already, you're already linking your social media platforms to your Google Business profile. At least you should be. And then now they're starting to appear like where they're giving summarized posts within your Google Business profile directly from social. So in terms of like, hey, this is what is has been posted on the business on the different platforms. It'll show that across the board. And then again, within the AI prompt, it's showing some of the things that are being populated there. So the more that you are leveraging your own social, the better. And let's go to talking a few about a few of these things. So Google is again connecting the platforms. Social content can now appear in Google, and then AI is using those social signals. And so social posts are being indexed. So in terms of this is how it's leveraging the rankings and leveraging AI in terms of the data world. So social, like I mentioned, appears in the GBP, and AI is leveraging, again, those elements. The more that you're starting to see social appear as summarizations, the more that it's obviously being used and leveraged. So just because, I don't want to use TikTok, I don't agree with it, and that's fine. You don't have to use every single platform. But again, if there's another individual, another shop that is using it, that's potentially more data points that they're having in the system and in the ether that you're not having. So having these different things definitely is beneficial. Now, even more so, having other people post things on social about you is also very, very beneficial. I've seen a few clients where they've had, hey, they leveraged an influencer, and the influencer posted about, hey, how great an experience they had at the shop. They gave me the oil change. They got me in, and I made an appointment. It was super easy, and they got me in and out in again less time than they even told me that it would take. And they put that on their own social. They tag you in it. Boom, you're linked together, and now that's appearing in the indexing of Google when people are searching. So again, you want to leverage these different things in different ways. It's very, very powerful to be able to do so. So social media, again, is probably one of the biggest low-hanging fruit things that people can leverage. Most people ignore because, again, it was just like, I don't want to do it myself, and I also don't want to pay for it. But now it's looking more necessary than ever to leverage your social platform and just be using it constantly to create more data elements for Google, and it creates more trust signals at the end of the day. All right, and so now why local mentions matter more than ever as well. So this has always been pretty important in terms of being involved in your community, but most times people maybe they sponsor a team and they never follow through in making sure that, hey, said people actually talked about how you sponsor the team and linked it back to your business on the website and things of that nature. That's going to be very important to get out of, again, those elements of sponsoring and doing those things. If you're involved in the Chamber of Commerce, make sure that you're in the directory listed correctly, and like you're double checking and making sure they listed it correctly for you, because again, they probably don't think anything of it. They might have a typo here and there, and that again detracts the amount of trust that you have within local community. When you are running an event at your shop, and say you're doing it for moms that you're like, we want to run an event for maybe single moms and helping them with doing oil changes on their car. That's an event that, again, you want to make sure that it gets talked about within the community. Maybe you mention it to one of the newspaper outlets or one of the radio stations and say, hey, come on down, this is an event that we're doing, and maybe they're interested. Things are slow for these types of businesses, and they're just looking for things to talk about. Why not talk about something in a positive light? So doing those things definitely are going to be beneficial. And as you have these markers on these different things, it's going to be very beneficial. I know, like, hey, going to the Chamber of Commerce takes time and you have to go through these meetings, etc. But again, just solely being even listed and being involved a little bit goes a long way. And being involved with other business owners goes a long way too, because maybe they'll talk about you on their different social platforms or on their website for whatever reason, and things that you have partnerships for. The more that you have, again, these touch points, the more likelihood that AI is going to recommend you when someone in your local area is looking for an auto repair shop. And so why YouTube matters more than ever. So again, YouTube has always been seen as a very powerful platform in terms of it's just long form video, and people stay on it for a good amount of time. It's sticky because, again, people like watching videos and constant movement, and especially if it's informational, that it tends to be, again, like where you have, hey, 5 signs your car needs attention. People want to know what are all the signs. They're not going to just stop at sign number 1. Typically, they're going to watch through the whole video. And the longer that you're building this length of time, the more trust that your business is building. And now if these different signals that you're mentioning here in this video, someone asks about one of these signals in some shape or form in your local community, and how do I know when I need to do something? And then boom, your video appears as an answer. They look at the video, they're like, well, I'm definitely not doing that myself. Boom, they're gonna pick your shop because you made a video about it, and they're gonna go right there. So yes, those are things that are not easy to do. It takes a little bit of time, but again, the more trust that you're building and starting now, you don't need to do again 100 videos in a month. Like, just chip away and do one a week or even one a month, and by the end of the year you have double digits in terms of the videos and data that you have to post on there. And those videos can then get snipped up even further in terms of like, hey, 5 signs can easily be turned into 5 videos and 5 reels that then get posted on the different social platforms. So again, these are all positive and helpful things to be able to do and leverage. YouTube is one of the big things that we're seeing AI leveraging quite a bit of, because there's just, in a video, there's so much data in a video, so many words being shared, words become content, and thus where it starts understanding more and more what a business can and can't do. And so this is the local SEO and sort of AI optimization checklist. If you want to screenshot this, go for it. So you can go through and follow this checklist in terms of the different areas of where you want to check and make sure that am I leveraging the right things? Am I doing it the right way in order to can create the highest likelihood of being recommended by AI? These are going to be the different areas that you want to look at. So one, you want to optimize your Google Business Profile. So you want to make sure every section is completed, the right categories are being selected, that photos are being added correctly. This is probably the biggest one where I always see photos. Probably the last updated one was 7 years ago, and it was when the shop had an old sign on it, or maybe it was even the shop before you purchased it, and it doesn't have a new updated version. So make sure that those things are getting updated. One little hack is even putting words on top of photos. You can even explain what it is, like brake repair job, or and it's a picture of a team member doing a brake repair, but then Google is reading, not having to figure out what it is. There's words on the photo, and it explains exactly what is being done. So again, little things that you can do there that will be beneficial. Then next, you can optimize your website. Just make sure, again, it's a fast, mobile-friendly site, easy to navigate, has a good amount of information. Those FAQ pages is one thing, an easy thing to add to any website. Just starting to have one FAQ page, and an FAQ page you can add more questions over time. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, I can't think of all the questions, and thus I'm not going to do it. Start with like 5 questions. Like, well, what are things that you hear that your team hears on the phone all the time, or at the front counter all the time, like that are being asked? That's obviously going to be a question that a lot of people are thinking in their head before showing up as well. So make those into pages, and they'll definitely be beneficial. Get more 5-star reviews. So make sure you have a process to get more and more of these, as we already talked about. Create helpful content. That's going to be a big thing. And a lot of people are a lot of different ways to cheat the system in a way of like, hey, I'm just going to ask AI to write me a blog post about this said thing. Like, yes, it's beneficial, but ideally AI is just kind of helping start the process for you if you even need it. You ideally want to have a real human touch involved, just to make sure that it increases that trustworthiness and also gives a different dynamic than what's typically being iterated out there. Because if AI already prompted you that answer, it's not going to be anything new that AI needs to digest on there. So it's not creating any additional trust of like, oh, this is something new I didn't know. So again, you want to make sure that you're running your own stuff as you go through that. And then YouTube, definitely leveraging that and creating videos. Phones are an easy video recorder. You don't need to get anything fancy. Phone does plenty good if you want to do that. Maybe you just get a little mini tripod stand or something for your phone to be able to stand and record something. Local citations. So again, building it within relevant directories and local websites around your local community. Find out what those are. And then be active on your social. Again, don't worry and stress about the number of people liking or commenting on it. Just use the platform, and then you'll start to see more results there, and then track and analyze everything. Just start monitoring the performance overall there. So this is a little checklist again that hopefully you're doing all these different things. If you're not, at least you know and different ways to go about it. Okay, so what's next? So we want to make sure that you're taking action of what needs to take place going forward. So your next 6 steps, you probably, again, from the checklist itself, you're going to probably be doing one of these 6 things. If not, you're going through an order of what those things should be. So GDP, website, then reviews, creating content, local authority, local community, and tracking everything. All right. So the future obviously is being AI recommended. It's not, there's no rankings and things like, oh, we can rank you number 1 in AI. Things that are being said like that, I'd really question. Maybe they're just going after the shiny new thing of, we could easily start branding and saying like, oh, we're doing a brand new thing in terms of AI SEO. Now, to me, that would be stating things a little bit false, and then just trying to capture the audience of like, oh, we have this shiny new thing, you should sign up. Like the process that we've implemented still continue to affect these things in the best way. Like, yes, there's some tweaks and things that are adjusted to definitely want to follow through and making sure that people appear very well in the AI recommendations. But again, it isn't like it's a brand new process that needs to take place. So there's definitely like the cornerstones of what you have to do within search still stays the same. It's just kind of like, am I leveraging now all the different areas in the right way to best capitalize and be recommended? Because again, people are looking in all these different platforms, and AI is reading all these platforms. It can all at once. And so the more that you have in different places, obviously the more trust that you can build. So the ROI at the end of the day of being AI recommended and the real world impact. So obviously you'll start getting more visibility. The way that the recommendations work is, again, it almost takes away some of the competition that is appearing there. Now, will you appear for every single AI recommendation? No, like it's not going to just be like only one person gets all the results. That's not a thing. And thankfully, because again, then you would have one business taking all the business, and then they would get overloaded and they would not do all the work and people get frustrated, etc. there. So it'll be spread out, but obviously we want to create a higher likelihood for yourself. And it creates more trust, because again, AI recommends businesses it trusts. People trust AI. Thus where you want to make sure that you are coinciding with that trust, how it works. Then you'll start getting more customers. With those customers, you can get more value and more efficiency out of doing those certain things, and build that sustainable growth within what is being recommended through AI. So you definitely want to start today in terms of making sure that you are being found and how that is working. Again, there's different tools and whatnot, ones that we leverage as well in terms of like how are people appearing, again, Google's starting to put more things into even Google Search Console and whatnot. But again, if you are looking at your own kind of ecosystem about your business and you're not happy with how it looks, then more than likely AI isn't going to be very happy either in terms of what that's looking like. But at the end of the day, it's like we still need to track ranking. So it's still a means and ways of people getting found. Again, it's not like AI is the only way people are choosing the business. Like, yes, I mean, we're starting to hear businesses getting found from AI now, but it's not like every single option is AI. Majority of the time, people are still going through the maps and leveraging the rankings that are there. So you still want to look at heat maps and track and see how well radius you're ranking in the top 3, looking at those things, because again, there's still a good amount of revenue to be had there. AI is not just a replacement for everything. It is still, though, obviously, when it's at the very top of the search, it's going to start eating up market share pretty quickly, because people are lazy and they don't like to scroll very far. So you want to make sure that, again, you're leveraging all options. So here's the message, the metrics that we measure and that you still want to look at. So you still want to look at the amount of clicks and things that are happening there. Over time, clicks and impressions are definitely, for websites at least, are going to go down. Because the AI summary is taking out so much of the share of the page, and then the ads, and then the maps, and then the websites. That's going to continue to go in a negative direction. So if you're only looking at clicks and impressions, you'll probably be very disheartened of what is going on. Nothing is working. But no, we still want to see and understand where the leads are coming from. Because if people are still reading it from AI, and again, that still came from Google, they're still gonna, when you ask them how they found your business, they're still gonna say that, oh, I found you through Google. And they all kind of coincide with, like, you don't know the exact place that they found you through Google, but we know that, again, there's a bunch of different options and we want to make all those things work. But those are things that you want to definitely continue to look at. But like I mentioned, you keeping track of where your brand name and the kind of the volume that is being captured there for just your brand is an important trend to follow that sometimes people disregard. It's like, oh, I'm going to be ranking number one for my business name anyways, so I don't really need to pay attention to it. But again, look at the amount of, like, again, impression clicks that happen there, because that tells me that you're building a stronger brand over time if that's going up. Okay. And then AI creates more zero-click searches. So users often get answers directly on Google or from AI overviews without them clicking through a bunch of things. So they're not, the customer journey is not like they typed in a search, boom, they clicked on this website, boom, they do some more research, they back away, they go to another business. It's not going to be this back and forth clicking system. It's just like they type, they get a few answers, maybe they type a little bit more, get another answer, boom, make a call. So at the end of the day, though, what matters the most are going to be the calls, the leads, the revenue that comes in from these things. And you can coincide them. Like, for example, in our reporting now, we have the phone numbers that come in, the phone number links to an RO. The RO, obviously, we can track how much revenue gets brought in. Then boom, you can create this ability to see how much revenue is coming in from the leads, and what is the one, you can come up with a cost of how much you're spending to get these calls, but then also the revenue that coincides that. That's where the ROI comes into play. I'm like, okay, I'm spending this much, I'm making this much. Is this an ROI that I want to see? And does this make sense for my business? And AI visibility, again, overall, is looking a bit different. So before traditional search, again, as we already showed, and this will be a little bit of summarization here, but you have a list of a bunch of different auto repair shops. Same question in the AI recommendations, and then it'll show kind of, these different people reviewed it this way of different auto repair shops in the area, and this is what they said about it. And then if you want to dig in more, you type in more about one given type. And these are all the different AI platforms. All the different AI platforms have a bunch of different options. So again, you can't control the answers that come to be. You're not going to be the only answer. Just know that, and you can type it in multiple times throughout the day, and more than likely you're going to get multiple different answers throughout the day. But again, everyone is also receiving those things around the community as well. So where can you track these things, and what can we even start to track on AI? Like I mentioned, more and more things are coming out each and every day. GA4 is, so Google, and within Google Analytics, there's the AI traffic now as a source that's populating through there. That's something that you need to link to your website and the different tools that you link there. So you want to make sure that you get that situated, so that way you can start tracking AI traffic. AI citation, so track where AI is citing, recommending your business. So different tools are starting to show where AI is citing certain things. AI impressions, that's something that's, again, being murmured and coming soon. We don't know when, but they'll start to show that, hey, how many times did you just naturally appear, not just get clicked onto to your website? How many times did your name get appeared in any AI conversation? And then the leads, you can track the amount of leads that are coming through from AI. Obviously, again, tracking through the source and making sure that you're asking people how they found you, digging in a little bit. If they just say Google, it's like, okay, was it through Google AI or anything like that, or anything in particular, anything different? And they're like, no, I just want to through the maps. Those are all good things to understand and do. You can still track calls in terms of calls getting driven by search or AI or GBP, and then obviously the revenue that coincides with that. And then within reporting, you can then see kind of there's some of these different things, what that looks like. So at the end of the day, if you do nothing else, you want to make sure that you do these things. And so you want to get more reviews. I think that's an easy thing to control. Obviously, it's like probably maybe you make a goal in terms of the percentage of cars that come in, or ROs that come in a given month. I'm expecting X amount % of reviews. And maybe, again, you can look back and see what you've been in the past and make a goal of how you get there. And Ideally, again, it's not just your team asking in person. It's going to be creating a good follow-up campaigns of reaching back out to people once the car is done and they're back home and they're able to leave reviews outside of the shop. And then again, leaving a more detailed review of what is there, not just a no review at all in terms of like they just leave a 5-star and don't leave a response. Have something detailed in there. Stay active on social. That's going to be a big one. Just again, use the platform. Create. Yes, it's a bit of work, but create a system, a calendar sequence of laying out all the different types of posts that you want to do in a given month and what your brand strategy is for the year and how that coincides together. Those are all things that we help support and leverage here at Lyft. But again, create something, create a process and do those things and make sure you're just using social. Optimize your GBP. Just make sure that you are using everything that GBP has to offer. Create local content and make sure you're working with the local community and being involved. Don't just ignore it and take it for granted. Make sure that you are connecting with those people. So the shops that win both do traditional SEO and build this overall digital authority across the board. So not only looking at Google and how to dominate Google, but dominate everything across an entire ecosystem, because that's what AI is looking at and reading and trusting. And again, as I mentioned, people are a bit of a blind trust in AI. And so if you become that trusted source for the most part for it, that's a lot less convincing you have to do in terms of why someone needs to come to you, why maybe your price point is a bit higher than your competitors because you do this and this. They've already seen and heard all about how good you are, and they're convinced when they even called, and that's the ideal form of where you want the customer to be. So make sure that doing both things helps you really dominate and win in that area. So final thoughts across the board. The goal is no longer just to rank higher than your competitors. Your goal is to be that trusted source and being recommended by AI. And again, that because that summary is at the top, we're always focused on how do you get to being featured in this top portion of search, because people are not scrolling very far very often. Before that way was ranking, we've been leveraging ads and doing those things. Those things aren't going to just magically go away, but because AI is eating such a big surface area at the very top of search, we need to figure out how the heck do we how do you get in there and stay in there with regularity in your community. And these are the things that we're finding, and that again within the marketing world, what people are hearing and seeing, and people like businesses that are as involved as possible. And if you've already been doing it, great, you're way ahead of your competitors in terms of doing those things. And again, most of your competitors won't bother doing any of these things because they just, maybe they feel like they don't have the time, or they don't want to put in the time, put in the effort to do these things, or invest in someone else doing these things for them because they're like, I just don't need to do that. I feel like I'm coasting, I'm doing well. But again, you not want to be stagnant or going backwards as a business, because again, that's a dangerous place to be. If suddenly you're like, where did all my market share go? Everyone is leaving. It could be because you just didn't create this ecosystem of trust, and that's where like someone else keeps going to talk about it being the trusted source, and they're just going to switch and give it a try, and they ended up liking them better. Okay, so I don't know if there's any other questions and things that I popped through. If you still have them, please feel free to populate those in the chat as you continue to watch on the replay. Also throw those in the comments. Hopefully I covered a lot in terms of what is kind of new in AI world. But if you're unsure of like, okay, well, I'm not really sure where I'm at in terms of like the AI visibility and maybe even where my general rankings are, this is where we do free strategy sessions. So we meet and we analyze all these things before you even come into the call. And so that way we come prepared. One, we want to learn about your business and see, again, in places where maybe we can even be of assistance, but we can at least come to the table and provide this data. Like, hey, this is where you're at. This is where your competitors are at. This is what you can do better. This is where you're already doing really well. And then you can kind of take it from there. If there's pieces where we can be of assistance to improve things even further, perfect. If not, that's totally okay too. As long as we are continuing to help the industry, that's again, in the betterment of what we're trying to accomplish here at Lyft. I talked about the checklist that we had for AI. There's also some more general checklists that we have overall in terms of just checking your overall online presence across the board. These things are probably going to start adjusting over time as it like coincides with AI and all the different things that need to be, again, double checked and pretty much added to. But we do have a checklist. So if you go to go.liftautorepairmarketing.com/marketing checklist, you can download it there. Or if you go into our homepage, look through our website, see the downloadables, you also find it there. Join our Facebook group. So Facebook group has over 2,000 people in terms of auto repair shop owners that are in there sharing insights and informations, or maybe struggles. And again, there's great feedback, great camaraderie in there in terms of people supporting other owners. So it's free to join. Feel free to jump in and contribute to the community as a whole. And then there's a book that my wife and I wrote, Drive More Business. It's on Amazon, so a step-by-step guide. So if you just prefer learning these things through a book versus watching webinars and videos and things that we've done in the past, a book, we have one there as well. But that is everything that I have today. So I appreciate all the time that you guys spent with me. Again, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. You can message me on social, you can email me, call me, etc. there. But I am Kelsey with Lift Auto Repair Marketing, and we'll chat again next time. See you guys. Bye.